Surprise. You probably didn't expect to see this old face again. However, based on an awful lot of students who have come up to me over the hundreds of years and have said, okay, you need to talk about your stories and stuff that happened at Westwood, Lincoln, Alexander, and you should write a book. I don't do books. I don't have the patience for it. My handwriting sucks. And people fall asleep by page 3. So what I decided to do was to attempt a Facebook, YouTube page. And you can tell I'm doing this in one take. Mistakes and all. So I decided to do a YouTube channel. And we'll see who shows up. We'll see if there's an interest for it. I can talk about stories. I can talk about incidents that happened. Some of you may very much remember some of these stories, especially the old guard, the stage crew stories, the band stories, concert stories, show stories, plays. I've got all kinds of material that we can talk about, and your suggestions will definitely be listened to and maybe honored. The only problem is I've got to watch not to name names, because some people, when I talk about stories, they'll know exactly who I'm talking about, and I don't want to pull anybody's name into the front pages. So I figured, that a 10-minute blurb on a regular basis, maybe once a week, twice a week, depending on my mood and the interest. And then we'll see who we get. We'll see if there's an interest. We'll see what stories people want me to talk about. I've got lots to talk about. And God knows you know that once I start talking, people look for the exits or windows. But hopefully it won't be quite that bad. A lot has happened since I retired in 2014, and one of the reasons I retired in 2014 were some health issues, and some of you may know that. But I'm still here, I'm still kicking, and I look wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I've often said I'm not just a pretty face, and I can hear you laughing right now. Forget it. But I've got an awful lot of things to talk about, and if there's an interest, I'll be happy to carry this on and do a semi-regular thing. I'm going to sort of semi-advertise it on Facebook. And if word gets around, you look for my name, and that'll be the Facebook page. The YouTube page. This is what happens when you get to be old, like me. In fact, some of your parents that I taught at the school will be interested in this too, and they'll look at me and they'll say, "What happened to your hair?" That's okay. I get that all the time. Stories. One favorite story comes to mind. I'll start you off with one. During a multicultural assembly that we did, of course, there were a lot of Bhangra dancers and lots and lots of different things happening on stage. And one of the stage crew members and I were sort of down at the front left of the stage right. And there was an amazing Bhangra group on stage, and I think you know who I'm talking about if you've seen a few of these assemblies. They were spectacular. And so a lot of the students, mostly guys, would conglomerate down towards the kitchen side of the auditorium and dance there. And we always had a thing that when somebody was on stage performing, that we didn't want people standing because they could block the view. So this other stage crew member and I, who is much shorter than me, and I'm 5'4", are on the floor where the stairs are, if you can envision that, and they're busy enjoying themselves. The students are busy enjoying themselves, dancing and so on. And I'm trying to get them to sit down. and one of the taller students, he had to be about 6 feet tall. He looks down at me and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I want you to sit down." And he looks at me and says, "Why?" I said, "You're blocking people's views." And he looks down at me, like he could see the stage perfectly level. "Sir, you're blocking my view." At which point we both started to laugh, and I went, "Okay, fine. Dance." You know, like, what am I going to do? Jump up and down? So that was just, that was a perfect example of what usually happened during all these assemblies and so on. And some of you might know the dance group on stage. They were quite good. There were 8 people in total, or sometimes as many as 12. Yeah, no, 8. And I should get in touch with some of these people and ask permission to use their names, because they might be interested in this too. Lots of other stories. The story of me driving downtown to get props and sound set up for a production that we were doing, and on the Queens Quay Drive, they had, forget the phone, ignore it, it doesn't exist. They had just constructed a raised streetcar track, and somehow, I'm with a former student, somehow we found ourselves driving on this raised streetcar track with a streetcar right behind me and a foot drop to the road, and I had no idea of how to get down. We finally did, but I think the person I was with, who was a stage crew director at the time, talked about this story for years and years and years afterwards, about me getting stuck on a raised stage crew track, which only I can do. Again, some stage crew stories, some band stories, and I've got lots more. So this is going to be, a 10-minute little introduction to the page. If you're interested in listening to me babble on and have this nice glow from the top of my head, because I'm in my music room with all kinds of stuff. Some of you may be looking at around the room right now going, I remember that. The sign behind me was acquired by a famous student of mine who was a terrific musician and incredible stage crew guy. He'll remember the sign. You'll remember seeing it in my office. Well, my office is now down here. It's not so bad. I miss you guys. I miss the students. I miss the teachers. I don't miss the administration. Shh, don't tell them that. And I'm using a laptop with a really, really old webcam and not a bad microphone. We'll see if it really works out. So primitive stuff. But then I'm old school. And that's pretty much it. So let me know put comments below and do the usual thing. And we'll see if we have enough interest in continuing this thing, whatever it is. It's good to see you. You all look wonderful. All 2 or 3 of you, however many people dial up this page, and we will. If you're interested, just comment or personal message me on my Facebook page, and we'll go from there. Take care. Bye.